We all have a lot on our plate, both inside us with emotions and outside of us with just situations in general. It feels so annoying to deal with. I mean, if the problem itself wasn't enough, you got to deal with like sadness, disappointment, you got to deal with guilt, anxiety of it not going a certain way, and it just really, both the inner and the outer world that everyone has, just really eats at us. There are ways to balance this seemingly endless chaos that at times can feel like it is as unpredictable as it is uncontrollable. Um, so for our inner and outer world, as far as problems, it's definitely normal to have many problems on the inside of us and just in the outer world. Inner world, a lot of us got our anxieties, things that we're sad about, people that maybe we miss, memories that we miss, maybe having problems at work. But the point is that I'm trying to make, what these problems can end up happening is creating extremes, because the more that you think on these problems, the more warped it becomes and more aggressive it becomes in your mind. Especially when you get in those like anxiety loops where you're constantly telling yourself that for a very long time. These extremes, can cause a lot of pain. And it can feel overwhelming at times and feel like there's no answer to it too. But if you are in one of these, like even if you're in a hopeless situation, you're feeling these extreme emotions, just know that, and like I said in the past, just know that your life is your life. You have so much control over it at the end of the day. And you might say stuff like, oh, I'm lazy or I'm not bright. You are not lazy, you're burnout. You are bright, you're just lying to yourself because, you're just a little bit beat down in life. Alright? I believe on you. You should believe in yourself even more importantly. One connection I've noticed with the inner and outer world is it is not two independent things. It's actually one very entangled object thing. And what I mean, and because of this, what makes this significant is if one side is performing in an extreme way and no opposite one end, it's gonna react just as much on the other end. And as far as which way that extreme goes, you can actually choose. So like for example, maybe you lose your job, that's the outside problem, and then the inside, you decide to live in 24/7 extreme stress, that in fight or flight. But while you can't untangle it, while you can't like separate it, you can detangle it to make it so you are reacting in the opposite extreme. So like for example, in that example, the other way you could have reacted is, oh, I hated that job. Like for example, maybe you hated that job, you could have said, oh, I hated that job, now let's go for at least a little bit of a better job now that I can at least tolerate. And there's other things you can say, like maybe I can find a better paying job, or maybe I can motivate myself to make a big change in my life alongside with finding this new job. But that's just one of many examples that can happen. The big point here is there is an inseparable relationship between your inside and outside worlds, and they do tend to hit you all at once and try to go to the extreme. Naturally speaking, that's like what your mind wants to do, you know. But while your mind wants to act a certain way, that doesn't mean it has all the control, the conscious control to make the inputs outside of thoughts. That would be you. And if you can, and like I said in the past, whatever you feed your mind, it reaps. Whatever you sow reaps. If you start learning to tolerate just negative situations more and more, because let's be honest, inconveniences is just a daily thing in all of our lives, and annoying pains, slight pains. If you can enter these situations and instead of, like, your thought will immediately be negative from right off the start, but use that negative thought and then just like basically throw it in the trash and replace it with a positive conscious thought that you tell yourself. And as you build up these positive responses to stressful / inconvenience situations, then you just gain that skill to react to bigger situations calmer, and then eventually you'll be able to, take on any situation, literally. Whatever life throws at you, you'll be able to take on. Whatever situation you guys are in, there is hope. There is still hope for you guys. There is always hope, no matter what situation you're in. I say that with certainty, and the reason why I can say it with certainty, because at one point in my life, I was certain that it would never get better. But now I'm at a point where I can say I've gotten better. I have a question for you guys. What is one issue you guys currently struggle with relating to your inside and outside world? Personally, I still struggle a lot with overcomplicating things in my mind, which kind of puts me in an anxiety loop for at least a few minutes. But yeah, I appreciate you guys a lot for watching today's video. You guys have a good rest of your day.